We are loaded with some fantastic remote jobs at Marriott, Capital One, and Carnival, including some great paying roles that don't require years and years of experience, some that are fantastic options if you have some experience in the hospitality industry, and some beginner-friendly paid training included work-from-home jobs, and one of them starts in September and the other one is night shift. So let's start off with the remote jobs with Marriott. I have two of them I want to share, and they're really great paying remote opportunities. So as I'm sure you know, Marriott is currently the largest hotel chain in the world, and they've been around since the 1920s. The first job I'm sharing is for a reporting manager. This job is full-time remote. You can do it remotely anywhere within the United States, or if you live in the Bethesda, Maryland area, you can work out of that office. As we scroll down this job description, they tell us their headquarters-based positions are considered hybrid for candidates within a commuting distance of Bethesda, Maryland. Candidates outside of commuting distance to Bethesda, Maryland will be considered for remote positions. So that tells me if you're the right person for this job, you can live anywhere within the United States. So in this job, you're going to provide a whole lot of analytical and reporting support across sourcing, contracting, environmental, social, and governance initiatives. You'll deliver insights that improve category management plans, sourcing outcomes, contract performance, compliance monitoring, and support ESG reporting efforts. So a lot of reporting and analysis. So what all that means is you'll gather market data, analyze contract lifecycle metrics, including cycle times, throughput, and compliance to identify trends and improvement opportunities. You'll also extract contractual SLAs and support ongoing SLA management reporting and perform should-cost analysis to support sourcing events and assessments. And they have more details. If you're interested in this job, read through the details. So you'd be a great fit for this job if you have a few years experience in analytics, procurement, sourcing, finance, or a related field, and you're proficient in using data analysis tools. Now they prefer, but they don't require, they prefer you have experience working with contract data, procurement metrics, or reporting environments, and you're familiar with ESG or sustainability reporting concepts. And those last two things are just preferred, they're not required. Now let's talk about the salary on the right. As we scroll down a little bit to show the salary, they tell us if you live in the Bethesda, Maryland area, they'll pay you anywhere from $72,600 up to $114,400 per year. If you work remotely outside of the Bethesda, Maryland area, the salary is between $66,000 and $104,000 per year. So our next remote job with Marriott is for a web portal and content management manager. This job is full-time. You can do it remotely anywhere within the United States, or if you live in the Bethesda, Maryland, you can work out of that office. So what you're going to do is drive the creation of procurement-related content on the Enterprise Procurement Portal. You provide administrative oversight and facilitate the overall management of the web portal, support change management initiatives, and drive communication strategies. Basically, this role helps improve adoption, enhance the user experience, and maintain alignment across all procurement touch points. So in other words, you'll facilitate the creation of content and corresponding reviews to be published on the web portal, administer web portal functionality, including access, links to resources, publication of reports, those sort of things, and ensure messaging is consistent and tailored for different customer personas. So for this job, you'd be a great fit if you have a bachelor's degree and a few years experience in communications, content management, procurement operations, or a related field, and you have experience developing user-facing content for multiple audiences in a global or enterprise environment. And they list a few preferred qualifications. They're just preferred, not required. Read through them. If you meet any of them, make sure to include them on your resume. And on the right, they tell us the salary is, if you live in the Bethesda, Maryland area, $96,000 up to $144,000 per year. All other areas within the United States outside of Bethesda, Maryland, they tell us they'll pay you anywhere from $87,300 up to $131,300 per year. So now let's talk about remote jobs with Capital One. They're a Fortune 500 institution that operates as one of the largest banks and credit card issuers in the United States, and they've been around since 1988. I have 3 remote jobs with them I'm sharing today, and they're great opportunities for all of you who have some experience in the hospitality industry. And these jobs are not requiring years and years of related experience. So the first one I'm sharing is for a travel specialist associate to work the Velocity Black division. So this job is full-time remote anywhere within the United States. We're going to ignore this location of Richmond, Virginia, because down here at the bottom of the job description, they tell us no matter where you live, they'll pay you anywhere from $66,700 up to $76,100 per year. So this job is customer service in the hospitality industry. You'll communicate with clients, suppliers, and fellow team members to deliver best-in-class service to members, selecting relevant accommodations and transportation options, and ensuring every detail is checked to provide a smooth and stress-free travel experience while creating memories for clients that will last a lifetime. So yeah, you'll assist clients in booking travel, ranging from commercial flights to hotels to vacation homes and car rentals, using global distribution systems and other online travel tools to book and communicate with suppliers, and work with suppliers around the world to ensure clients are receiving the best rates, perks, and services in the market. So if you're adaptable, you can multitask, you have a passion for travel and traveling, you're available to work evenings, weekends, and some holidays, check out this opportunity. Now, as far as the shift, they tell us the shift can start as early as 7 a.m. and may go as late as 10 p.m., and you're expected to work 1 weekend day per week. In lieu of working a weekend day, you will get a weekday off. You need a high school diploma, GED, or equivalent, and a couple years experience coordinating luxury travel. And they prefer, but they don't require, they prefer you have a bachelor's degree or military experience, a few years experience at a travel agency, and about 1 year global distribution system or other online travel tools experience. And those last 3 things are just preferred, they're not required. And again, no matter where you live in the United States, they tell us they'll pay you between $66,700 up to $76,100 per year. All right, here's another good opportunity with Capital One. It's for a dining specialist associate, also in the Velocity Black division. And this job is full-time remote anywhere within the United States. Regardless where you live in the U.S., they tell us they'll pay you between $66,700 and $76,100 per year. So they're looking for someone who's passionate about the restaurant industry with extremely strong existing knowledge and relationships with some of the best restaurants in the major U.S. markets. You'll communicate with clients, restaurants, and team members to deliver primetime reservations at the best restaurants in major U.S. markets, source ideas for content to submit to the content team on a weekly basis, and develop new relationships with restaurants and nightlife venues in major U.S. markets. So what they want from you is experience working with a high net worth client, you have strong knowledge of the major U.S. markets dining industry, and you have strong existing relationships with top tier restaurants. You also have experience building relationships and partnerships with dining and nightlife venues, and you're available to work on evenings and weekends. You need a high school diploma, GED, or equivalent, and a few years experience in the luxury hospitality industry, and a couple years of fine dining experience. They prefer, but they don't require, they prefer you have a bachelor's degree and at least 4 years luxury hospitality experience. Okay, so if those previous 2 Capital One remote jobs don't work out for you, here's another option. Capital One is looking for a concierge Gen Ops specialist associate, again working the Velocity Black division. This job is full-time remote anywhere within the United States with an annual salary of between $66,700 and $76,100 per year. So this job is concierge-based. They're looking for someone passionate about customer experience with strong existing knowledge of what it takes to be the most high-value-add concierge. They tell us the ideal candidate will be an energetic, ambitious, and determined person who wants to take their careers in the customer service and concierge space to the next level. So what you're going to do is work with clients, restaurants, vendors, and team members to deliver great service across dining, experiences, travel, and luxury goods. You'll source content ideas to submit to the company's content team on a weekly basis and complete end-to-end member requests. So, if you have general knowledge of high end experiences, luxury goods, and restaurants, as well as experience working with high net worth individuals and clients, and you're available to work on evenings and weekends, you have a high school diploma, GED, or equivalent, and a few years luxury hospitality experience, this job has your name on it. Now, they prefer, but they don't require, they prefer you have a bachelor's degree and about 3 years experience in luxury hospitality. And those last two things are just preferred, they're not required. So the last major company I'm sharing remote jobs from is Carnival Corporation. They've been around since the 1970s, and they operate as a massive global vacation business centered around its primary fleet of cruise ships. I'm sure you've heard of Carnival Cruises, Costa Cruises, Holland America, and Princess Cruises, to name a few. So the first job I want to share with Carnival Corporation is for a resolution specialist, and you're going to work in the Holland America line of Carnival Corporation. So this job is full-time remote almost anywhere within the United States. As we scroll down this job description, they tell us they're not hiring if you live in one of these states you see on your screen right now. All other locations, you're good to apply for this position. So this job is very beginner friendly, and they'll train you. I'm just scrolling around. Yep, right here they tell us they provide 2-week training from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Pacific time zone hours, Monday through Friday. You don't have to live in the Pacific time zone. Just translate your local hours to those hours. And then after training, your shift will be from 10:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. You don't have to live in the Pacific time zone. Just translate your local hours to those hours. And I want to mention this. They tell us as you'll be on the closing shift, you may be required to stay past the end of your day until calls are clear and you are released. And once fully trained, you'll also be required to sign up for up to 7 weekend shifts per quarter. This may vary based on company needs. Your 8-hour weekend shift will be scheduled during business hours of 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time based on business needs. So I just wanted to mention that so you're clear on what your schedule will be. So in this job, you'll play a pivotal role in ensuring seamless communication between internal staff and external customers, resolving inquiries and supporting the contact center. If you're passionate about customer service and thrive in a dynamic environment, they encourage you to apply. So basically, you'll answer incoming calls and emails from both internal and external customers, providing prompt and professional assistance, serving as a primary point of contact for resolving problems and addressing concerns related to reservations, and assisting management and colleagues with problem resolution and policy clarification. So yep, it's all about customer service, and it's a very entry-level opportunity. You need to have excellent communication skills and strong negotiation abilities and a customer-centric approach. You're proficient using Microsoft Office applications, and you can multitask and prioritize your work. And travel industry experience is recommended, but it's not required. Remember, they will train you in this position. And as far as the salary, they tell us they'll pay you $18 per hour. And this job starts September 8th, 2026. So our last remote job is also with Carnival Corporation. This one too, you'll work in the Holland America line. And this job is for an air customer service agent after hours. It is full-time remote anywhere within the United States, with the exception of the several states you see on your screen right now. So hopefully you do not live in one of those states. They will train you in this position. You must be available for initial 4 to 6 week paid training period, and you need to be available to work nights and weekends. The after hours team will need to be available for work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. So that's a 9-hour shift with a 1-hour lunch, and then from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. So your shift will be any time within those hours. So you're going to join the travel services team, work outside business hours, and process urgent air travel for shipboard officers, crew, guest entertainers, vendors, contractors, and shoreside employees, usually in cases where trips have been disrupted for unforeseen reasons. You'll provide excellent customer service for those individuals who require immediate assistance with flights to get from their homes to join their cruise, or from the end of their cruise to get back to home. You'll administer hotel and ground transportation arrangements and answer phone calls and monitor emails for shoreside travelers in need of urgent assistance outside of business hours. And you'll find the best combination of price, convenience, and comfort and issue the resulting air tickets. So for this job, you need to be able to effectively communicate with travel suppliers, post agents, crew members, employees, and other departments, as well as management. And you have about 3 years related experience in a travel agency, airline, or wholesale travel agency, and you're comfortable using Microsoft Office products. And you have knowledge of all aspects of the Sabre airline reservation system. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the job description because down here they tell us they'll pay you anywhere from $16.35 up to $22.07 per hour. So that's all I have for you in this video. Some great opportunities with Marriott, Capital One, and Carnival Corporation. So hopefully one of these great paying remote jobs works out for you. And remember, at least one of them is entry level and two of them will train you. So have a great day, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.